Good morning, gentle beings, and welcome to Tuesday. It's Tuesday. That's what day it is. And that's just in case you guys weren't noticing that it was Tuesday. Okay. I don't know. I'm in a mood. I actually, my walking buddy came down with COVID and he has recovered. And now that he has recovered, he's back to, we should go for our walk. So I was walking this morning. So exercise does wonders for waking you up and getting you organized for the day and making you feel great and getting you started out and stuff like that. So I am up and moving and ready to go. And we are going to work on fixing the small little mistakes that I just made yesterday. So we're going to go on ahead and do this. Switch over to the drawing monitor. And we need you and you. It's going to be our work today. We're also going to need, we just need to make a quick adjustment to these. We should be fine everywhere else. So we need the masters, which are here, because we just need to move it over just a hair. So I'll copy, paste. We'll just put this into overlay mode because we just need to move these guys over a small amount. Do not save. Do not save. And you are all copy, paste. Same thing. We'll put it in overlay mode. We just need to move these guys over a small amount. So when we're looking at where we are here, right, we're looking at where the pockets ended up. They're just off by one. I can't get it to not be with the smoothing on. But what it looks like is if I follow the line of the pocket itself right here, that's the actual new line. So that's easy, right? We just go in here real quick and we just go down here, and this line is the new line. So we're going to just make a new layer real quick. We're going to hit the space bar. Come up here. And what we're going to do is we're just going to go in here and I will get my pens. Oh, we're missing one, aren't we? We're missing my marker. Yeah, my felt pen. And move that to the top. Because we need a pen that I can write fast with. And that's not going to happen with these G pens. They get a little too, the G pens are too chewy. So now this is where the new line is on this side, right? So we've caught that. That's not going to be that big of a deal. We'll look again here, right? And it looks like when we turn off the angling here, actually it looks kind of like so it's off by one back. That's all it is. It's off by one back, but it's down by one. So we just need to move it back by one and down by one. So to here, no, to here. So this is the new spot for this. And this is where the inside pocket is here. And this is where the inside pocket is here. So this is what we've done. And that's fine. We can fix that. Good morning, Brent. The question really is, now that I've done this, did her hip move back? Because I feel like almost looking at, if I were to look at just the right view of this and looking straight on here like this, man, that camera's right in the way, isn't it? I put her pocket in the correct spot now. I feel like the pocket's in a great spot. But now I'm kind of wondering whether this is too far forward. It's definitely too far forward for what comes out the bottom. So either way, let's move it forward to there. Because of course it's not in the right spot. Okay. So we need to move it one, two, three back. Right? Yeah. We need to move it in line with this inner run. Didn't even know that was a mistake I had made. I'm glad I fixed it. You know what? I love the idea that you're all into these school buses. I'm just saying, I think that's the coolest thing ever. Like I said, I myself thought that was a good idea at one point in time, and I even still do. I'm just into a microbus. Same thing. I'm just into the VW bus now. So, but I intend to do the same thing. I intend to put a little bed in the back, just big enough that my partner and I can stay back there and go to sleep. You know, they've got that entire back bay ready for that, and so, you know, put that in. And my partner and I can go driving around the big outdoors, the countryside. Okay, let's take the left view and see what we've got here, because I think we did the same mistake. We did. So it's the same mistake. It's identical on the other side. So we're going to do the same thing. The other side's got the same problem. Because really this needs to be three back. So here. To here. And then this needs to be this to here to here. And then this like that across, over, and you. So this is what we're doing. I like that you're calling them schoolies too. I think that's cute. The limbs are a little bit more complicated, because the more I look at it, the more I think this is the top of that deltoid. It fits the model better. So I'm going to have to redo that. But it also looks like we have distorted this a little bit more. So we're going to have to wiggle around on that a lot more. However, the front line looks like it's exactly on the right spot. This guy looks like he's on almost the right spot. So, like, they're almost correct up here. And so that's a good thing. I don't have to fix anything on this. up here. So this is all we need to fix on this one is the pants. So we're going to go down on this level here. We're going to do blue and not have the eraser on. Take the felt pen. Really? Like I said, what is going on? Okay, anybody want to explain this problem? That was really weird. I'm not sure what that was all about. I'm going to leave this little bit of orange right there so that whenever I redraw this, it won't be screwed up. Okay, we'll follow the guides here. So we're going to go like this, undo. Take this and let's just bring it down 50% to 30% or so I can see what's going on. Right, that's very strange looking. This will make very little difference practically, but will make a lot more difference in the long run. And I know I say that a lot with the, hey, this is going to be a lot more useful later on, but it really will be a lot more useful later on. See, I got to turn off this upper level to get the right color, because that is not the right color. I don't know if anybody has noticed that these are the same clasps on the pockets that are on the secure locks on their spacesuits. The reason I say that is because for those of you who are playing at home, the that means that the pockets are space capable and space sealed. So not that color, that color. I think you had posted like the coolest thing ever when you posted that double decker. I have to admit, I totally would be into that double decker. You weren't wrong. And I think it's funny how well you know me, because you've been looking at school buses, but then you found that double decker, and I'm like, well, crap, I kind of want that double decker. I just think that's funny because you pegged me square on. You were like, yeah, you'll need this double decker. And I'm like, damn it, kind of need that double decker. Like, it's kind of a bummer. You had me pegged so well. They're like, nah, guy, you need the double decker. And I think it's because you know my love for bizarre and weird vehicles. You know how that goes. We don't have any music. We chill. Okay, this one's fine now. So we'll save it as save. Moon. I don't know why I did that to myself. Because I can still use this as a guide, right? Coming in. All right, let's get the pen coming in here. We don't need this. That's it. Coming in here at the left of 7 and the right of 6. So here and here, and it's one further down. Right? So it's here and here. And that's this new one. All right, so we'll do that. And then this guy, I want more on here, right? Because I feel like this is more the deltoid, especially now that we're redoing this. I feel like I can do this. This guy, we'll look at here. We're looking at the bottom is the same line as that. So this is the bottom line right here. I don't know where the hell he starts. Right, that top line is halfway through that triangle. Right, so is it this? It makes that work. I don't know, this is much more complicated than I thought it was going to be. And that's okay. We'll look. Right, because what we've got at the dot there is the top. And that's still the same. So this is the same here. That's the top. And I've moved these down to make that come out and go out correctly. but now it's no longer the same, right? Because it's bidoop boodoo, bidoop boodoo. Shrug. So to the right of this, is it to the right of this that's the thing? Yeah, it's just to the right one. So let's do that, to the right one. So this is the actual line now. There. And it goes to the same spot down there almost. Yeah. Sort of. Yeah, there you go. So it's those 4, which is 1, 2, 3, and 4. Yeah? Or is it no? Let's see. I think those are 2 bars down. Yeah, I think we're 2 bars for each bar. Which means that it's really here, not here. So don't confuse ourselves. We don't want to confuse ourselves. So we're going to take that one out right there. Go back to my pin. Right, and here's where the bottom of it is. Yes, no, yes, no. Do we even know? Do we know? And like, is it in the same spot? Where are we? It actually seems like it is. Yeah. Sort of. So that, and then the next one is sort of the bottom. So let's do that. It's like it kind of goes in on those triangles, which makes sense. So like this is the actual bottom right here. There's our pocket right there. We'll do that. Now the question really is, do I want to come from the bottom of this pocket now? The center line of this is here, right? And it's coming out there. So I kind of feel like I would center it. I mean, this is a military uniform. We want it to be centered. So it's going to come out here instead. I'm not going to go very far over on this, but enough that that will cause a little bit of a difference out here. Because that can then be just a straight line to here. And this could be a straight line to right here. And that'll be fine. But like I said, as a military uniform, we want to make sure that it's lined up properly, because there's no way the military would allow it to be screwed up and goofy. Now we need to move these guys, and that's going to be ugly. Because I moved everything up one ring. So this all belongs one ring further down. And that's because I wanted more room down here for the cuff. So I allowed for this to be here and then this to be here at the top of that cuff. It's messed up really good. All right. Let's take a look to make sure that we're at the right grid piece. All right. So this is the entire right here. All right. So this is our new bottom. That's the new cuff. That goes to right there. Goes to right there. And this is the cuff. And then this is the cuff cliff. Right through here. Right. And now this is the edge of RC. And that's where this is. So everybody needs to move down just a little. Not really a whole lot. It's all right. You're at work. I figure this is going to be hell day for you anyway, because everybody's going to call and say, oh no, the 4th of July has occurred. Therefore, my life has come to an abrupt and meaningless halt. Such is the way of the world. So what we'll actually do is do this and just move this down, because honestly, I can do. Yeah. Stop selecting that layer. I don't want you to select that layer. You're selecting that layer. Okay, fine. Well, how am I supposed to see? Well, I guess I'm just going to do that. Stay here. Right, because we can do this. And deselect. And actually, that's probably the fastest and easiest fix for this that could ever happen. I'm just going through here and just punch it up. Yep, IT will fix it. You got it. Used to do tier 1. I know exactly what that happens. I know exactly how that happens. So, you got my sympathies, my friend. You got my sympathies. Because I know how this works. I think all of us that are tech oriented ended up doing tier 1 at some point in our time. I know you're not tier 1, but still, like, I realize how many of us can say, oh yeah, totally, I've done tier 1. And we all just, like, yeah, it's like we all understand. But down that road is not fun. You know what I mean? Like, so many of us are like, yeah, that, we understand. Okay, overlay here. Looking at that, let's go ahead and just peg in. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and turn that off and that off. Just grab there by one here and just make sure that it clears that on either side. Because it really would suck if it had some weird little hole thing on it. Okay, we fixed this side. Let's go up here and fix the shoulder pad. will not be what I'm after, but okay, we'll see. No Pepper, no Colton. Can will be here. He just doesn't get here until 10, usually, because he's got to do his breakfast and stuff like that, which I don't blame him for. But I don't know where Pepper and Colton are, other than being Pepper and Colton. I got to hang with Pepper over the weekend. That was cool. Pepper and Bill went to Torchy's and had tacos. So they had a burrito. And that was cool. Just remind me that I need to do this because I'm going to have to come back through and do that. But I need to turn these off temporarily so I can do that. I think we need to kind of come up here and just paint this in. Hello, some user. Yes, I'm UV mapping. I had to fix my maquette because there was an error in the original way that I had done my morph targets. You just woke up Brent. Why would you wake up Brent? He's already awake. He's working, Colton. Jeez. So, yeah, some user, that's what we're doing here. We're remapping is what we're doing. So, yes, the new drive is working, and now that meant that I had to redo everything. But the maquette that I had originally, you can kind of see here. We're going to just go back to texture. I've got two new. He was sleeping at his desk. I've got two new morph targets now for this. So when we go to the parameters dial and we go to the Genesis dial, we have the female standard uniform, which gives her her pockets and the flares and everything. But we also have the mesh dress now, which is just the flares and a slight amount of cuff, because the mesh dress uniforms don't have the reaction control thrusters, because they're not mesh dress. Mesh dress does, but the formal uniforms don't have the flares for the cuffs, and they don't have pockets because you're not supposed to have pockets apparently in dress uniforms. So what we're doing here is we're just trying to get the textures to align, because they don't quite align with the new graphics. So we're just doing that real quick. I'm only moving things over. They were already pretty close to okay before. There's a couple of things I also noticed, that this upper shoulder piece goes more along the back than I wanted it to. It doesn't go this, it should go more this way. And so I need it to kind of pop back here. And that makes this shoulder seam go, it's further back than it needs to. So we're going to make the shoulder seam come forward more so that it aligns with this line right through here. Because it's a military uniform, and you know, military uniforms are prim and proper. To boot, we obviously are going to be building this with some kind of 3D printer. So you wake up in the morning and you hit print uniform, and it prints a new uniform for you. You pull it out and you put it on. You go to work, and then you come home. Substance painter. No, I've never done substance paint before. Look it up. Here's me looking this up. Let me see. Substance painter. Substance painter. And it's Adobe, which means that I already technically own it. Right. Substance painter. Oh. Some user is onto something. Colton. Okay, so Colton, you just said you were up till 3 working and you were up till 3 playing games. Which was it? Or were you just doing that weird thing that I used to do when I was younger but can't do anymore, where you like totally just doing all of that at the same time? Okay, so okay, some user. Here's the trick. I haven't it will work for you're multitasking. It will work just fine. Actually, I think that what you're talking about will be perfect for every project, everything that I build from scratch. I don't think that will work with DAS, because I'm worried we will lose the bone structure. Because like a DAS model is rigged, but it will work perfectly for everything I build, which I build everything. So we will do this. We can't do this today for this project, but we can do this for every other project after this, because I only fix these up. And once I fix these up, I don't have to worry about them again. Unless I decide to change uniforms or something later down the road. But I see what you're saying, and I think I'm going to install Substance Painter too, because that's a good. Cheers. Yeah, but you have to have an OBJ file, right? Because I mean, it's not going to load a DUF or a PZ3 or any of those. Let's see. download this to me. Now we're losing connection because of Adobe being Adobe. Why you do this to me? All right. Meet the new Photoshop. I see what you're saying, but does it remap the UVs? So, for example, let's switch over here so you can see what I'm talking about. If we're talking about texture shaded here, wire texture shaded, okay? So this UV map ends here on one side and starts a different UV map there, which is matching. It actually ends here. It matches the two maps that are on, because there's like 4 maps to a human figure, right? So would it change? You know, like if I started to paint down into this area, would it alter the UV map so that this is a new UV map? Or, you know what? Just download the stupid thing at some point in time and find out. I think that's a good idea. I don't want to spend today on it because I haven't put Adobe on here yet. Because the cloud was such a mess. My cloud, it was the part of the problem that I ran into with my old C drive was the cloud server, the licensing server was part of the issue we were having, was because it was constantly freaking out and constantly checking to see if I was legal. And because of that, it completely wigged out the system. But I see what you're saying. I'm not opposed. I'm not opposed. I'm not opposed at all. Okay, we will start this with the male side because we've got to do a male version of this. But I'm not going to do it today because I need to finish the pages I'm working on today. I need to have just Mayrel, the pilot, finished. Yeah, so I mean, plausibly it's different, but here's what we've got over on the UV side. So this is the arms and legs on this UV map, and this is the torso on this UV map. So it's mapped, and the thing pre-mapped is they're all uniform, so it makes it real easy for me to make one map that fits everybody, and all I need to do is just change the colors. For example, on here, all I've got to do is change this blue area to a light green, remove these little pieces right here, and poof, we've got it set up for Mayrel, right? So that's a big plus on that side. So where else can I move this over? This seam. It's unseemly. Where did it go? Where's that seam going? So, as long as it won't modify the UVs, we should be fine. It needs to go forward to right here. So this seam needs to be just over 1. Go which way? Towards the front. Right towards the front. Okay. But yeah, I think we will do that. Starting tomorrow. But I'm not ready to install Adobe on here yet. I'm still mad at Adobe. Adobe was stupid and made me irritated and annoyed and stuff. So. Is it there that I want to be on? Daz has a thing for first of all, they've inherited this from Poser. They inherited the models effectively. No, you're not bothering me at all, man. You are not bothering me in the least. Don't worry. I'm just grumpy at. I'm grumpy at stupid. I'm still mad at Creative Cloud. That's all. Creative Cloud made my life really difficult. It made me so mad that at one point I was going to get rid of Creative Cloud. I was done. I was done with Creative Cloud. I wasn't going to use it anymore. I had canceled my subscription, and then I got a photography job. And so as soon as I got a photography job, I still needed to use Lightroom, and there's no real replacement for Lightroom, sadly. So it became one of those, well, guess who's stuck with Adobe? I do this and bring this to here. That's what I think I want. You're not arguing with me at all. Don't worry. So, and I think that's actually why I came out on ARM 8, where I really didn't want to, but I really should have done ARM, say 10 or 9. Let's go to the bottom of 9 just to make this work. Because that's really what should have been happening. Yeah. Ish. And really this needs to come down to here. Because it needs to line up with the center here, which is this guy. So it really needs to come down to here. So, yep, I am definitely a grumpy old man when it comes to my Creative Cloud. I'm just getting over it. I'm so over Creative Cloud being stupid. I'm irritated because Adobe has gotten to the point now where they're too big and everybody uses them, and they've got absolutely no reason at all to do the right thing, and so they don't, because they know we can't vote with our dollar. It won't work. And so it's just frustrating. It's frustrating. It's true. I mean, I was ready to leave. I was ready to walk out the door. And then I got another job for a photography task, and I need Lightroom. And frankly, Lightroom is the best program for what it does. And I couldn't afford to mess it up. You're on CS3. I don't blame you. Don't blame you at all. Okay, so now we're coming out at It is exactly right. I was ready to cut my ties and let it expire. And my real estate agent called and said, hey, I got a house. And I'm like, well, can't win. It's like, I guess I'm staying. It's like, this is such a stupid thing. Oh, it's fine. Actually, I like it because it's a creative job. It's a, you know, I'm an artist. I really don't do well in the standard 9 to 5 thing. I mean, I can do fine if I have to, but not good at it. And so, you know, it's better to do that, honestly, by far. I'd rather do that. Which reminds me, I need to call up Nate with QuaCk Homes. If you're a geek and you need a home, call QuaCk Homes. And talk to him about sitting down with his team. Well, that's good. That's actually really good. The market here seems to be, well, everything changed because they did the thing with, the Fed did the thing with the interest rates. So that's changed the market quite a bit. Now it's hard for them to sell stuff, and they're having a hard time doing that. So that's an issue, but we're getting there. I mean, you know. So it's getting better. That's okay. You know, this morning I went for my walk with my buddy with Alex. You guys know Alex because he was on Geek Tank. Well, Brent knows Alex. So, yes, I will show you exactly what I do. Some user. All right. So, if we, no, I will show you from recent, because we can take, here we go. So when you see this here, this is the comment. And let's see if any of these guys have their chats updated. That's not the page I wanted. Do not save. So let's take this page, for example. When I have a page like this, let's say this guy right here, we go over here and grab my grab tool, just grab this under frame, provided it's here, or did I delete it all? I didn't delete it all, did I? Did I delete everything? Oh, we are too many levels down. Okay, I will have to take a different page. Like this page. I know the page is just recently completed. So, okay, there we go. So we look here, and what I have underneath here is a rendering of the maquette. Oh no, am I back? Am I back yet? Am I back? 14.4p. Turn progressive. Okay. I'll see you tonight, Brent. I don't know if you can see me, some user. But what I did was I have been working on these maquettes so that they are indicative of my characters. so they look like my characters. Their eyes are the right shape. I'm a blob. Give me a second. It'll take a second. We seem to go through cycles like this. And I'll just wait. We'll wait. We'll wait. Okay, tell me when I get back here. I'm still showing yellow on my transmission bar. And like my connection's a 6 of 10, it says. So I'm like at 60%. That's so nice that I pay so much for my internet. That would be so lousy. So, I don't know if you can hear or see me, or see what's going here on the screen, right here on the screen. But yeah, so what I'll do is I'll render the scene out of task, and I've already put in here like all of her freckles, and I've drawn her face, and I've shaped her face using morph targets and things like that. I've drawn her eyebrows on the UV map. Hello, Hone. Welcome to the show. And I put all of the details in here for the character, and then I put a white overlay like this, and I just put it like that, and then I draw the lines over it for the character. I'm just a smear. Gosh, this is the longest I've been offline for a while, or downline, I guess. Waiting for us to get better. Oh, it's not. It's degrading. It's getting worse. I'm now down to 50%. My line is 50%. Oh, wow. Okay, I'm going to turn off the Adobe site because I think that's, I don't know. I always just blame Adobe. I see Hone saying something, but I don't see Hone saying anything else. I don't know if you can hear me better now or not. Okay, am I getting better? 60% again. Oh. I mean, it will get better in time. I just may have to. Okay, well, I'm going to go back to working on the maquette real quick. And then when this comes back online, we'll be able to, I'll show you what we're doing. Because I want to go ahead and just fix this. So I'll fix this and then I'll show you how it worked when we come back online. So, all right. I don't know what happened to Hone. I hope Hone's okay. You're welcome. So this actually, I'll tell you though, if you can hear me but can't see me, I'll try to explain sort of the story behind this. First of all, I can draw these freehand just fine, but it takes about 5 hours a page. When I use the maquettes, I can cut that down to about an hour a page. And part of it is because I have attention deficit, which is lovely like, I guess one could argue, very much like it's of course it's on the spectrum with the autistic people. And one of my problems that I have is I'm very sensitive to perspective problems, and I'm sensitive to details being missing. And unfortunately with ADD, I also have a habit of not putting in details. So it'll take me 5 hours because I've got to constantly go back and fix and fix and fix and fix and fix. And it's an extraordinarily frustrating process for me. So it's been nearly 20 years now. I was using Daz Studio, except at the time it was Poser. I was using that program. I was using Poser to fix sort of like it's supposed to be used, right? I would render the picture, and then I'd put the picture there, and then I'd draw on a piece of paper on the table, right? So I used Poser for exactly what you suspect we should use it for. But then I got this idea, and I was like, well, why am I doing this? This is kind of hard. So then I took the Poseroid, and then I took it into Photoshop, turned it into a very light blue, and then printed it on a printer, and then drew over that, letting that be sort of my rough sketch, right? So then I could go through, and then that way eyes would be in the right place, and I wouldn't have eyes that were all wonky or weird. It would drive me absolutely crazy. I didn't have anything out of place, things like that. It was easier to work on, and it was less anxiety promoting. So anyway, I did that, and then when I went to Japan in 2006, I discovered a tablet PC called the M1400, which medical people were using because you could sign documents on them, so it had a pen. And this is 2006, so these tablet PCs weren't out yet. I went, and so I ordered one, and I got it, and I had to have it shipped to Japan. It was so weird. Anyway, I then started doing without the paper, right? I just render it in Photoshop and then render it in Daz. At the time I moved to Daz Studio, and then I'd move it to Photoshop for tracing. And then I realized that if I added details to the characters to make them look like my characters, then I could trace the details onto each one of the renders, and things like freckles would move in the correct perspective every time the character turned their head, or in the instance of this uniform, the accoutrements. So what I do is this is my deal. This is the deal. I only use the 3D models for my comic. That's it. If I want to do a drawing in my sketchbook or something like that, I refuse to use the 3D models. So I only use it to keep my speed going the way it is. So and this is the thing that you'll see me talk to Brent a lot about, or talk with Brent a lot about. And that is, my imposter syndrome will get the better of me and tell me that I am just tracing, and it's not real art, it's tracing, and I get really down on myself, and I'll go in spirals. But again, at 5 hours a page versus 1.5 hours a page, I can put out an actual comic in a month. At 5 hours a page, I can put out one comic every 3 or 4 months. So it's a much different. That's a significant boost, like a major significant boost, and worth it. It's worth it. It's worth that, because that is, if I go out onto, say, the forums, especially the forums that are like the moms and stuff like that, there are a lot of people who believe that this is tracing and this isn't real art at all. And all I have to do is point them to Gantz, because this is literally what the Gantz artist does. The artist of Gantz does this very thing. He uses the onboard maquettes in Clip Studio Paint, but he does the same thing. And I just found this out a couple of days ago. I need to stand up here. I subscribe to a magazine called Imagine FX. Imagine FX, which is out of England, and this is their manga issue. Oh man! And in this issue, this is this month's issue. I was actually it's a workshop for doing exactly what we're doing here. And this artist says he uses it for the concept art stuff because it's fast. But it's the same thing. You can see he's using Dazzle right here. Pre-pose, it's posed. Yeah, there's a lot of stigma. Enough stigma that it makes me hesitate a lot. However, I make sure that I can draw stuff freehand to keep myself in check. Oh, I'm completely inaudible. This is really irritating. Because this is an important discussion. This is a bad time for internet to decide to be crappy. Can you hear me better now? I'm back up to 60%. I hope that I'm better now. Maybe if I do a blank screen or something. Let's see. I'm going to make that. Okay, you can hear me. Okay, so what I'm discovering is this. If you are learning to draw, not good, but you can understand me. Yeah, and it looks like I'm down to 40% again. Or 50%. Like the longest I've been in B connection land. My feeling is, first of all, it's becoming the industry standard at the moment for people to do this. Hang on, I'm going to try something. I'm going to grab the screen capture. Here. I'm going to say, hang on, this will be funny. But I think I might be having problems because of the video. So we'll have to see. I'm going to do a quick thing here. There we go. I'm going to make this. And this will be funny. This will be funny. There we go. And then we'll do scenes. This up. I'm going to drop out. I'll be right back. Okay, I've got my audio back. Hang on. It's all mad. Okay, this will be good. This will be good. Because if we do this right, at least make this funny. There we go. All right. So now maybe you can hear me better if I'm just having one static that I'm transmitting instead of transmitting video. Well, it's because the music is coming from Restream, and my voice is obviously coming from my house, which is where we're having a transmission problem. And we haven't been above 60% this entire time, and that's so aggravating. But hopefully you can hear me better now. Okay, so here's the thing. If you are a new artist and you're tracing over maquettes, then your teacher is correct. Obviously, that's not a good idea, because you need to learn perspective and you need to learn, anatomy and things like that. So I recommend, just like you would, to use the maquettes to make the pose, then look at the screen and draw on the right place. Don't trace, because you want to be able to get that correctly. If, however, in drawing for 25 years like I have, and you can do it, but it irritates the hell out of you and makes you really, really mad and frustrates you, then that's a different story. I'm only using the maquettes to speed this process up so that I won't be frustrated and rage quit in the middle of my comic, which has happened more than once, where I've just rage quit because I'm so aggravated with the fact that I have literally erased a hole in the paper trying to fix a corrective problem that really with the maquettes would have been done. And what's even sadder is I'll bring in a maquette on a drawing that back in the days when I would do that, I would take the maquettes and bring them in after I got frustrated. And I'd find that I was off by a fraction of an inch, which means that I'm too sensitive to it. Like, nobody would have seen it. Only I saw it. But I saw it. And it wouldn't leave me alone until I finished. So that's kind of why I say it took some time, but it looks like professionals in the field don't seem to have a problem with the tracing of the maquettes if you already know if you have the skills. But if you don't have the skills, I agree, it's not a good thing to do this process prior to getting your skills. Get your skills down, get your fundamentals, you know what you're doing, and then use the maquettes. But use the maquettes just to speed the process up, because legitimately perspective and anatomy are two of the biggest slowdowns we've ever had that we get as artists. I was doing this yesterday, as a matter of fact. I had we have family drawing time, or family art time. We go to a coffee shop. So of course I don't have my maquettes, I don't have my machine, I have just a sketchbook and a pencil. And I did a really cute thing. They were adorable, they were fluffy, but all of their perspective is off, and they look weird, and I'm having a hard time with it, and they look fine to everybody else. And I can tell because everybody else looks great, and I'm fussing over it. So that's what's going on. As far as the maquettes that I'm working on here, they're going to be with me through the remainder of this comic, and there are 50 episodes of 2 to 3 issues each. So talking a lot of issues. We're talking 100 issues or so. So 3,200 pages for this entire unit, this entire series. So that's a lot of pages. 3,200 pages is a lot of pages to put in on this. Plus QuACk. We've got backstories and things like that. So there's a lot going on. At 5 hours a page, 3,200 pages will take me years. Probably more years than I have left in my life. So I don't have the time right now to lay that down. So that's where we are kind of on this. So that's a thing. Okay, I'm going to switch back from the audio only now to scene sources. Hope you can actually see what we're doing. So does that make kind of some sense? Because that's my new theory, and I have to say this to keep my soul intact, because otherwise I get caught up in it and I get very upset, and then I'm like, I shouldn't be doing this, sort of thing. So let's go on ahead here. We need to be over 1. I really think we need to be over 1. We do. We need to be over 1. All right. So yeah, here. There we go. Anyway, if you're interested in using the cat, Daz Studio is free. Doesn't cost anything to download. So that's one of the reasons I use it. And Quasar money off of making specialized models and rendering the models themselves using the rendering engine for its own self, I guess. So we've come out on 9 here, so we're coming out on 9. It's here. Where on 9? The bottom of 9. Okay, we're gonna now no longer come out here. We're coming out here. 9. And I actually feel like I should come across to here. So that should be so we'll come up here. Oh yeah. So somebody had also said that the tracing function goes back to some of the greatest painters, because they used to have a device that would take an image through a lens and project it up onto a wall. So you'd have a model sit there. It would then capture that image and project it to a wall where you put your canvas up, and then they trace in all of the key points, where the eyes were, where the nose was, all that stuff. So tracing has been part of what we do literally since the 1700s, 1800s. I still don't think we should trace, because I think it's a good skill to have, to know how to not trace. However, in this particular instance, I would say we're slaves to the story. As comic writers, we're here for the story. We're working the story. So I'm making it pretty so that I don't have to worry about. I don't have to. I can convey my story. So there we go. That should fix that problem. I do. I have a favorite artist. I'll show you. This guy is my favorite artist ever. This is Haruhiko Mikimoto. He is the guy who drew Macross, the original Macross series, Robotech. And he also, his manga is the Macross manga. So I dig him a lot. It's cool. It's too pixelated to see. Man, I'm not doing good on the broadcast side today, am I? His name is Haruhiko Mikimoto. I've met him once. So here, I'll put his name in the chat so you can see it. There we go. Haruhiko Mikimoto. His family name is Moto. So you're welcome. He's one of my absolute favorites. So if there's a manga artist that I follow, he was the character designer on Robotech or Macross. When you look at it, he was the original character designer for that series. And so he So yeah, he was the original character designer on Macross, and I do too. I love. I mean, it's definitely like, it's my home. That's my home base. Okay, we're over here. Truthfully, I think this is pretty much all black. Whereas now, on this side, Oh. '80s anime is definitely my home base when it comes to where I come from as far as I was sloppy with this the first time around. No, I'm not. I don't want to be as sloppy in this. Discovered in 18, huh? The old anime aesthetic, yeah. There we go. I'm just going in here and real quickly cleaning up the bottom of that a little bit. I'll do the same thing over here. Go in here with the pen. I'll tap that. These guys and fix them. So I did actually, like I said, City Pop. Oh yeah. That's right. We were having that whole discussion about Dirty Pair, weren't we? Because I actually have that's one of my Dirty Pair books up here. Old school days. They are good. I think it's interesting that I also find it interesting that different countries hit different strides on things. I lived in Japan for many years, and while I lived in Japan, I gathered up the things from all the guys that I liked while I was there because I could just go into a used bookstore and pick them up. Once you know, finding books in Japan is kind of funny because they're all by publisher. They're not by artists, so you won't find. You have to know the publisher because that's how they're sorted. It was remarkably interesting. I find it interesting also. That's another one of those things. I love cultures. I love different cultures. And so it's one of those ongoing, did we move the legs? I don't know. Let's see. It should be coming out thigh 8, between thigh 6 and thigh 7. Let's see if that works. Nope, we didn't move these. So they're between thigh 6 and thigh 7. It used to say that about Japan as well. Thigh 9. So we used to say that they were by about 10 years as well, and they've caught up. So maybe you were too. I don't know. It could happen. Anything could happen, I guess. Okay. Moving up to here, the pocket is aligned correctly now, or is it not? I feel like it's down 2 more. It is 2 more. So here. Because I don't know. I feel like anything can happen. I hope I'm getting better on the transmission quality. I'm still really low on bars up here. It actually was interesting. My buddy Alex and I were just talking about this. Don't erase that one. My buddy Alex and I were just talking about how the local internet service keeps saying that everything's our fault, and it always ends up being their fault. And it's just funny that we just discussion today on our walk. It does. I mean, here you are, you and I are talking and communicating, and I'm getting you exposed to different parts of this culture and things like that, and you're giving me parts of your culture, and you know what I mean? Like, I feel like that's what the world should be like, right? We should all be working together and, transferring information and taking the best of all of our cultures and mixing them together, because I think that's cool. Soon has some great food. I'm just saying. I joke that I travel the world on my stomach, and so that's my ongoing joke. I'm always looking for the food. I'm like, I'm heading to your country to eat your food. That's what I'm after. So, and I also like to eat the things that are popular here in America to see what it's like there. For example, we have Swedish meatballs. Now I'd be curious what that food's original taste would be. So I would head there specifically to get one of those so that I could go, oh, that's what it's supposed to taste like. Because I know it always comes here and then we change it. And we change it and we alter it, and then it becomes completely different. And I'm like, ugh. Which, I feel like then I'm missing out on something great. Like its original concepts and stuff like that. So that's me. If I ever come to visit you, it'll be like, I'm heading for the Swedish meatballs. And you'll be like, why? European food's not as rich. But on the same token, you Europeans also are as big. And it's because there's sugar in everything here. We put sugar in things that need sugar. And we do it all the time, and it's horrible. And I really wish we'd stop doing that. It's terrible for people. It's not good for us. It makes us sicker. And we know it, but it's so hard to avoid it now. It's in everything. I mean, literally the only way to avoid it now is to not eat anywhere except at home. And even then, when you eat at home, you buy the things at the store in the So it's really hard. Very difficult to eat well. That's what my partner and I are working on right now, because she really wants me to get healthier so that I can live longer, obviously. And so she has a vested interest. So recently, she has downloaded a calorie app that counts the calories in food. And that's what we do now. Salty, sugary, it's way over the top. Our food is way over the top. It should not be this bad, but it is. I mean, even when I ate at McDonald's in Japan, it wasn't as dramatic as it is here. Like, they've toned it back in Japan. Because, frankly, the Japanese don't like it as dramatic as it is. I feel kind of like everything we do is dramatic. You know? Doesn't mean to be down on us. I like America just fine, and I'm okay with what we do. I'm disgruntled. We've had some setbacks in our law-giving systems, and I'm a little annoyed by that. And I'm hoping that we'll get that squared away. But that's fixed. We will figure that out. If you ever come to visit, then we'll have to figure out some better foods for you. I kind of call her my adopted kid. I have a friend whose daughter comes over often from Japan. And she stays with us for a summer, over the summer. She hasn't been able to since COVID started, of course, because of the restrictions. But prior to COVID, she was here almost every summer. And she comes over, and she is an adorable child. She's now 16. Gosh, 16. And, she comes over her, and it's always some kind of, I can't deal with this food. I know. She's like, I'm trying. Well, she's not trying. She never tries. She just, I don't like it. Oh. And so it's a thing. And so it's one of those things that, we'll get there. But it's one of the discussions that many people have with me, because all of my characters are a normal weight. They're not overweight. None of my characters are overweight. And I think people think that that's some kind of body shaming, and it's not. It's not a body shaming thing at all. I just simply believe that in the future, we will all have stopped trying to, I guess money won't propel people, in my mind's eye, to do food the same way. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think that in the future we will have people who are driven by money to make food saltier or sweeter or things like that. So they will. So my characters won't be overweight. I mean, I might have one or two people who are overweight, but it'll always be a medical condition. It won't be. It won't be due to. It won't be sort of an epidemic like it is here. Yeah, but I also don't want to be insulting. I mean, I don't want people to think I'm trying people here, because I'm not. And I know that people will either like it or not. That's up to them. And I'm okay with that. I just routinely kind of feel like I should at least explain myself to some degree. I know that this is saying a thing. I know this is making a statement, and I just want people to know that I thought it through. I did think it through. I think that's lined up properly. So, I mean, it's kind of one of those old things where people are like, well, if they don't like it, they can leave. And though that is true, I also kind of like. My wife had actually, my partner, I'm trying to remember to say partner. I'm working on it, Joan. I'm working on it. My partner had kind of called me on that and said, you have, hello. She called me on that saying, I'll make sure that you have people of different body shapes in there. Well, I've got people who are, like larger frames and smaller frames, but I'm not going to put people that are overweight, because I feel like that in the future we won't be force feeding people sugar and salt. So it's a thing. All right. Or me, my friend. Or me. That's what I was just saying. We'll exist. We just won't be big. Absolutely exist. We just won't be unhealthily large. That's all. Which you have to admit is better. You and I, we need not be unhealthily large. Because we aren't going to live to see our kids go to school if we are. I think big guys will exist. There'll be big guys. Like I said, there'll be big folks who are huge. But they're not going to be huge because they're overweight. They're going to be huge because big folks are huge. Like my grandfather was 6'3", so like 2.1 meters. You know what I mean? Like he was not small. He also wasn't overweight. He was a big guy. Nothing wrong with it. He was fine. There we go. There we go. Take that off. And I think we can call that. Well, they suit. It's fine. Yeah. I tend to always know if I know somebody is on here that's not in the US, I'll translate into metric. But he was 2.1 meters, 2.2 meters, something like that. I mean, he was huge. He was really tall, but he was really, really thin. He was slender. He just was really tall. And of course, when he died, I was 14. So I still wasn't fully grown yet. So always in my memory, he's, this tall. He's huge in my memory because he was my grandfather and he was a major person in my life and he was a big deal and he was important to me, but he was also massively huge, a big guy. I'm sure in real life he wasn't that big, but in my head he was massive because he was my grandpa, right? And that was the way it went. Okay, we're going to Control-Shift-E, save. I'm going to come over here. I'm going to same thing, save. I'm going to come back over here. And we're going to come back to comics. I have a comic stuff directory. We're going to say Bellatrix Workshop. And we're going to save this as a subset. What we're going to do is we're going to go to the workshop and we're going to say base G2. There's only cat pictures in the chat. Which chat? Then I can take you and dump you and then reload you and see whether I can do it. Whether that lined you up correctly or not. Probably not. It didn't. Okay. One of the drawbacks to Daz Studio is that it caches everything, and so the only way to check your UVs is to is to dump Daz Studio, clear it from memory, and then reload. That's what we're doing on the cycle here. Here we go. Come on. Fire it up. Only cat pictures in the chat. I'm not even sure where we are. So yeah, since Brent is coming in on Facebook, though, the only way you're going to be able to see what Brent's saying is over there in the box on the far left side or far right side of this. So, alrighty, let's take a look and see where everything lines up properly. Yeah, see, I had a feeling this wouldn't go straight. Look at that. And that means we did that wrong. That's a quick fix. It's wrong on both sides, so. Right. No layer text today. Okay. However, the rest of it looks smart. Shape in Bristol fashion. That looks fine. That looks fine. That's okay. That's okay. Right. There's a dragon icon. Oh, I get it. Brent's ruined it. Brent, there you go, man. You ruined it by putting a dragon icon in there. Although, I'm just saying that dragon icon was probably drawn by a very awesome artist. I'm just saying. Right? You know. Yeah, I know. Two things that we're going to do real quick. And we will clear. One, we got to go back over to here because this is not, in fact, good. I have to undo, because the Saturn's screwed up. But it's one row up, 2 rows up on this. Before this is your second favorite artist. Right? Second favorite artist. All right. 2 things I'm noticing. One, that's distorted more than I'd like. 2, well, going in here and looking at this grid, I think I'm only one off. This guy needs to be moved up because he's just lousy. Which is interesting because all I did was just move him over. And so, all right, you know what the problem is? We'll fix it real quick. And that's here. Wait, why is that not working? I know why it's not working. There we go. Also was pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. And frankly, I'm not sending my ear to anybody. Even to my partner, whom I love a lot. I'm not sending her my ear. I will lend you my ear, but that's it. That makes you a countryman, though. True. That's true. You know. Alrighty, let's try this again one more time from the top, and then we'll call this good. Now we know that this is too full, so let's just take this down here. So holding the Shift key in Clip Studio Paint makes things a lot. It turns things in a rotational. Or it turns it in by quarters. Yep. Romans, countrymen, lend me your ears. I still seem to be in like really crappy. This show has been lousy internet the entire time. It's been really sad. Don't want to do that. All right, there we go. Put that there. Now let's see if this is good. Save it. Yeah, I know this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Launch. Hasn't cleared from memory. Launch. There we go. All right. Boy, I am not going to complain about that SSD. Definitely the right speeds for these things. All right. Better. Probably good enough. I'm not going to lie. It looks like it doesn't need to be crushed at all. Maybe even extended. It looks much better when it's tilted down. Okay. Okay. And now I think we have our standard maquette the way she should be in standard mode. Weird. It goes into that low res. I'm really just not gonna pull that up on that. There you go. I am enjoying the SSD. Not quite enjoying the hit that I took in my wallet. I'm enjoying the SSD. There we go. Okay, so it does look like these clear her hips just fine, so they don't actually bump into her hips, which is good. That was one of the other things that we made a mistake for before. There. All right. The standard uniform looks like it's working just fine. Now all we need to do is just retro the 3 leads and they'll be fine. But now I can, right? That's stupid. Yeah, all the time I was taking on the ladder drive for the crap. It's ridiculous. Dumb. So I agree. It is better. It is much better. Still irritating, but much better. So. Well, and we've already used up a whole 136 gigabytes of my drive. Look at that. Look how horrible it is. I'll call it SSD. Yeah, call it that. Thanks. Whatever. Still did it. It still did it. It was like, so, Brent, why is it I can't be a default administrator on my machine? What's the story with that? Why do I have to constantly re-log in as the administrator or get permission? No, so we only have one more thing we're installing on the C drive, and that's Adobe Creative Cloud, which is what some user and I were talking about a minute ago, was because some users, yeah, I know. Talk about that. Does that mean that Microsoft is the administrator? Anyway, okay. Next big job I've got is going to be the next big job that I've got is to install all of Adobe Creative Cloud. Which is, I don't know. Anyway. I think what I'm going to do now is go ahead and just, we need to do a little bit of retcon on the system user called trusted installer is the media admin in the Windows computers. That wouldn't surprise me. I'm not a trusted installer. I don't know. Nobody gives me that permission. I don't know. I just work here. What do I know? I don't know. Anyway, I'll be back on tonight. Some user for you. That'll be midday tomorrow. But it's almost 12 hours from now. So we're broadcasting at night, 12 hours out. You may be at work or doing a perfectly normal person thing to do. But Europe is off by like 9 hours or something. So it's whatever. I don't know where you're going to be, but you'll be. So anyway, we'll be on tonight from 10 to midnight Mountain Time. And then I'll be back tomorrow from 9 to 11 to just continue doing this. And I think I have fixed everything I wanted to fix. And all is done, and all the uniforms work, and they all look right. So you weren't spamming. So 7:08 there. So we'll be broadcasting from 5 to 7 at night. Okay. We'll be broadcasting from 6 to... Wait. So we're broadcasting from 6 to 8 a.m. The other half of this is at 6 to 8 a.m. Anyway, you are always welcome to join us, some user. Please feel free, and you are not spamming at all. I like talking to you. You've got questions, and it's cool. It's like Brent. Brent always has things to talk about. That's what we should be doing. So I will see you, Brett, see you tonight, and some user, I'll see you later on. In the meantime, everybody, I hope you all have a wonderful day/evening, and I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.